Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Hello, players.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Good to see you all again. It is another day. We're here with Joris. We're here with Landfried, and we're here with Albrick. Fortunately, you can see their tokens bouncing up and down as they speak, which is absolutely wonderful and a genius creation. Thanks to Discord, reactive images, something. So, I hope everyone has already liked, subscribed, done all of those things. We're not really going to do much else of an intro. Watch all the other sessions if you want to be up to date. You're not going to get a session recap here anymore. Gentlemen, today, on this fine day within the Empire, you are within a glorious Hunter's Lodge tavern that is full of all of about 25 patrons, which is moderately packed. They're all eating mostly a roasted hog that seems to be smothered and surrounded by apples. And yet again, Joris, for yourself and for your two companions today, the meal is on the house. And the first drink, but no more. Bringing that food to you, a rather familiar uncle.
Joris, you're looking good.
Oh, thank you, Uncle. Under the circumstances, I do feel good, but it must be something about this establishment, I think.
It is the best food, some of the only good meat you will get in the whole of Tahme. Not a lot of hunting anymore, but it looks like you're settling in well. Do be careful. I hear that one of the saucy ladies was murdered. Yes.
One of the what ladies?
He kind of grabs his chest to kind of like wiggle his pecs around.
You know, one of these from the what is the name of that? The whorehouse. That is what I call it.
Yeah, such a tragedy.
Yes, she was pretty.
So I hear.
I would not know
horrible
about
business.
it.
So,
Let's see if I can keep a straight face.
Thanks more, I'm wearing my sack above my head.
Okay.
I probably just look distressed. I wouldn't say it's like I look guilty. I just probably look like disturbed by this.
Puts his hand on your shoulder.
don't worry. There's lots of pretty ladies that you can put your little carrot into.
Well, I must say, Uncle, that we were in some house of ill repute, but it was full of strange beings, scary creatures, not beautiful ladies.
Did you go in the gay one? You don't go in the ones with the sign of the smiley face. If it looks happy, you stay away.
It's good advice.
Good. Yes. If you need, let me know. I am here.
Thank you very much, and cheers to your health. And to Tal.
Tutal.
Takes a large swig of his own drink. Stands
Same.
up.
Goodbye, little man. I see you soon.
Later, Uncle. It's so sad. He reminds me of my father. They were very much alike.
He seems like a good man.
It is a long time since I saw him. Went over here a long time ago when I was a little boy, but he is still as I remember him.
He seems very generous.
It is the Norse way. Northern way, I must say. I am not a barbarian.
So, I look over at the priest of Moor. Are we really going to have to go talk to the knight? Well, I hear they don't talk, for starters.
Yeah, that is when they are on the watch. But we probably might talk with priest of the local garden, because, well, it's been a while since I've done my duties to my god. Besides, it might be good to pray for Yori's father. It might do good for his soul. Rest in peace.
It is good to pay attention to the Garden of Moor. It keeps the dead underground.
I prefer
not
them there.
walking about.
Yes. Besides, I feel like, given how things are going in this town, we might need a blessing or a couple blessings from priests. And given how dangerous it is, we might want to have a, last rites, maybe a bit earlier. Right.
You'll have no argument for me on that.
No. But were you related to this Black Knight? Was he...
I don't know, I'm just really curious, because it's very uncommon to have a Black Knight guard in the gardens, unless it's some gardens of high importance, or gardens that are not in peace, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Well, from the stories I read, a lot of strange things went on here a long time ago, so could be from that time. I mean, according to the stories, they fought an undead dragon. So best it stay dead and not undead. So maybe that's why the knight is here.
I will tell you that it's not just a story, it's true. But the nature of the story, well, we met the other day. One of the men who was there to see it. But I don't know. They never mentioned to me in letters, my grandfather nor my uncle, any mention of a Black Knight. But perhaps they would just leave that out. I haven't seen one. I've spent my life in Übersreich, Bogenhof, and not seen one in person before. So I have to admit, there's a bit of curiosity for me, at least.
I think I saw a couple on my pilgrimage to Aldorf's gardens, but never ever have I encountered one in relatively small towns like Tahme. And another point I would like to bring, because I'm deeply troubled by those things we saw on the day of our arrival, and maybe the priest can make sense of what we saw. Dancing skeletons. That's an abomination.
Yes, let's hope so.
So despite the fact that everything is on the house, I am going to leave a silver in the offerings on my way, finish my drink, and well, suppose there's no time like the present.
Yes. He will also leave some offerings to Tal, not a whole silver. He's a frugal peasant, and silver is a lot of money.
I'm depressingly middle class.
Yeah, I'm not leaving anything. In fact, I might as well cut a big chunk of meat from the roasted pork. because you never know when you might get a chance or money to fill your stomach next time.
I'm stuffing all my pockets and bags.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if I would do that too, but I might, but I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think I will because I'm planning on just going to the Garden of Moor. I'm not planning on shenanigans. So.
Well, the trappings on my characters say 1 rations a day, so that's what I'm getting.
He's like, yes, here I am, carving up.
Absolutely. By the side of the shrine is a fairly haggard, old-looking man who gives each of you kind of a notable grunt of approval with your offerings.
Give him a tip of the hat on my way out the door.
Okay.
Good day, sir.
Mm.
Reminds me of an old bartender I used to know.
Gentlemen, are you off to the gardens and Temple of Moor?
Indeed.
No, and there's no objections. I think that's might as well.
Any pit stops along town, supplies, dropping in, dropping out?
What time of day is it?
Early afternoon. Fairly dark sky, a little bit overcast. It feels a few hours later than it actually is, but...
Trying to think if there's things I might have gotten.
Should we have
prior.
a torch?
I have a lamp. I have my lamp actually.
Oh yeah, you have a lamp.
So if things get dark, I can use that.
Yeah, we might refresh our oil supply.
Okay. General convenience store available. You're able to drop in and for a modest fee, restock on oil. We'll deal with the finances later.
And I'm trying to think if I'm probably, after my conversation with my uncle and everybody disappearing, I think I've probably picked up a spear in the off time, but just looking back at it, just find something that is usable because it's just the prospects of violence just keep getting worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do that in the background here while we're moving on.
Absolutely.
Just find my thingy.
Yeah, a spear a day keeps the enemy at bay.
All right.
Indeed.
So it's the posher side of the river for the Garden of Moor, and it's probably only a 10-15 minute walk. You pass the to your left some of the houses of the nobility, largely a gated community, guarded. You walk around the outside, able to peer in at some of the rather plush looking houses with a mixture of gardens, but an impressive array of decadence. The Garden of Moor is in a bit of a clearing with a few loose trees scattered around, and it seems pretty large. Perhaps 100 yards, and for a small town, quite a size. And just past the gate of it, there is, what you would recognise to be a temple. A small number of decorative statues are on the outside, some of ravens, some to Moor himself, a few of local patrons and sponsors of the garden, and a small coin collection pot at the front full to the brim of pennies.
Passing by, Albrecht will actually shill out a silver coin. Because he's a devoted man.
I'll leave 2 brass pennies in the offering as well, out of sheer caution and feeling unnerved.
Okay.
Fine. That is custom.
And I'll ask Ulbrich to roll me 1, 2, 3, 1d4, please. A very random number, but let's go with some different music as well. Something a little bit more fitting for Moor. Let's go with... Wonderful. So, you step inside the temple and very swiftly greeted by, well, to most of you, a rather spooky looking figure. Black robes from head to toe and a skeletal looking leather mask. He holds a staff with a lantern atop of it and a small decorative crow at the crest. Around his body, a number of leather scraps. His quite the image. Gentlemen, I trust you are the new graveguard.
Well, Albert will greet the stranger with a customary Moor salute that involves moving the hand from top of his face down with an open palm. And he will say that no, we are not, but if the gardens need to be protected, I'm here for it.
Even behind his mask, you can see a slight air of frustration. That von Steiner, I don't believe it. They were supposed to arrive over a week ago. Well, if you're after silver, you could certainly earn some. We're in need of some help, and you look like you're familiar with our ways. And gives you the salute back.
Please do tell what troubles this garden.
He stands motionless for a moment. Come with. This is a conversation for outside of the peasants' ears. Leads you to a back room.
Boy, am I convincing that I'm not terrified out of my mind. I'm a good actor.
Leads you to a back room behind a black curtain. It's like you would imagine a monastery, only quite a few ravens kept within cages. A number of decorative scrolls around as well, some more sort of morbid than others, and a few almost tapestries along the walls that seem to be demonstrating funeral rites, you would assume. It seems to be someone that looks like Moor, perhaps Moor himself, or a priest interacting with the dead. Ulbrich, you recognise this as rites of laying people to rest, and sometimes rites of laying them to rest again.
Right. Ordinarily, we wouldn't be recruiting from the local populace, but we are short, and I can see you are already one of us. I trust your colleagues are to be trusted.
Indeed they are.
This garden is as troubled as it ever has been, but as of recent, with increasing frequency. The dead are never too restful, and yet this is where the garden is. Thus our night is kept busy every night. The candles and offerings within the gardens of night become tainted. We are not sure why. The plants grow ill. The flames dither, wither, and are extinguished of their own accord, and the dead rise again. We are in need of some to tend to the candles and lay any rest to dead, and above all to do so quietly. This is not a matter for the local populace to concern themselves regarding.
Yes, one can understand the discretion.
Many would take this as a poor omen for their town, but few would be aware that this has been the case for, well, since I have been here, a good 40 years. I might add, though, initially it was 1 a week. Now it is a dozen a night. It is of concern, but the nobleman von Steiner has assured me he will be providing guards and a thorough investigation.
And yet he didn't deliver it.
I am waiting, but he is a busy man, and less reliable than death. But
Looks
yes,
like he needs to set his priorities straight, because having restless gardens is not something you can turn your blind eye towards.
this is true. But on the other hand, placing the dead back to rest is still at times more favorable than talking to a politician. Your point is noted, though.
So, I suppose you can provide us with additional candles?
Yes. The armaments of our priesthood are also at your disposal, while inside the gardens, of course. We have a number of flails, well suited to dispatching the dead, as well as a couple of scythes and a crossbow or two. But understand these are the property of Moor. If one were to go missing, so would one's head, and you would be joining the garden shortly after.
Doesn't so much eyeball you as much as your two companions.
While the weapons are strong and effective, there is nothing more dangerous to the undead as a blessing of the Moor himself.
I just kind of hold on to my spear and kind of like make it like it's a walking stick kind of thing and lean on it a little bit. I have no intention of touching any spooky weapons because superstition.
Around 7 in the evening, we tend to require services once the sun passes the furthest tree.
He sort of points in a rough direction of where to look.
Above all, there is to be no screaming. Quietly is as we have been ordered, by the order. If, however, you would like to tend to the garden during the day, it is safe. Enough.
Uh-huh. All right, then by the sundown, I shall be present.
Excellent.
I rolled well enough on my cool check to think that this is a perfectly reasonable course of action, given the bizarre turn my life has taken in the last week.
Sure.
+5 on a cool check does not mean smart. It just means confident.
This is his intuition of you all.
For those who have not dealt with the dead before, provided the right arsenal is equipped, they're easier to lay to rest the second time.
Does this garden have a wall around it, by the way?
Yes, a wall and like a 9-foot tall hedge.
Yeah.
It is completely obscured from public view. I would say the temple itself is like a gatehouse inside.
Yes.
And you'll probably, as you're kind of looking around, wondering how this all works, none of the buildings around the garden are more than 1 story tall for probably a good few yards more.
Nobody really wants to know what's going on inside the garden, probably.
A final note. Black robes are available. We charge a penny a day for the cleaning, of course.
Yeah, looks like my robes are in disarray. I suppose I better change.
He bows.
If I'm not needed, gentlemen, I will bid you a good day.
Okay, sure.
I suppose it's easy to navigate to the nearest altar where I can offer my prayings.
Yes, yeah. There's one inside the temple, and there is a window where in the room you're currently situated, and you can kind of see a number of shrines scattered throughout. Well, you can see a couple from where you are, but you assume they're sort of intermittently they're dispersed within the grounds.
Well, I think with that Alberic will try to get his hands on a new robe, because his current one is, well, have a lot of holes in it. And after that he will go and pray within one of the shrines.
Okay. You meet another priest at by the robes, who is currently praying over them, blessing them, and passing by the weapons within their armory. And he greets you and exchanges, offers a small blessing to the robes before you take them.
I greet him silently, and after he hands me a robe, I bow and leave him to his business.
Okay.
I will probably also grab some robes, as I'm beginning to realize that this might be a bit messier than I'd hoped, and my clothes are actually halfway decent.
Absolutely.
The tourist is strangely at ease here. I mean, it's daytime, there's lots of priests around. They're all on the ground, you know. So, there's no weird stuff here, so, and he's just doing what you do, because, strange city folk, okay. And he'll grab a rope as well.
Okay. The entrance to the garden has a number of crows that are caged, as well as inkwell, pen, and numerous small strips of parchment and string. Ulbrich, you'll be familiar with this tradition of, for some individuals, they write down a dream they've had that they wish to come true, or they ask a question of Moor so that he may reveal the answer during their dreams. And for others, it's just simply sort of requesting for aid, assistance, anything more may be able to offer. But again, a small jar is placed there, and it is noted 3 pennies for a personal message between you and Moor. It's within your circles often a good money maker for the temple. The priests themselves tend to simply rely on prayer.
And the rates are quite low. Might as well take advantage of that.
Okay.
So basically what my character will write is he'll ask what might be the meaning of the dancing skeletons on the kind of main square of the town.
Okay.
And again, he will gladly part with his money.
You wave goodbye to the crow as you let it out of its cage and it flies off into the sky. And await your dreams.
Tourist will turn to Landfried and they sure are grim looking a lot, eh?
Yes.
My mother always said that it's mostly because the people just like dress up, you know. So, but
Yes, yeah.
you don't need to be scared. You know where I live, in the small village, I'm sort of a handyman, and my shack is right next to the graveyard. I have to dig graves sometimes, so I'm sure what they asked us to do, it will be fine. What can go wrong?
Indeed. It might give you comfort that the death is a natural end to any life, and it's...
Is our local priest of Moor, well, he lives in the woods with his wife. It's an odd couple because she's a Ryan priestess. It's again a weird bunch, but I don't know, it works out, you know, life and death. So.
I suppose that, in my view, from my uncle's stories, I am more cautious. If something is wrong, it tends to go wrong spectacularly. And I kind of look at my brand new spear and kind of test the weight a little bit and kind of lean back. But perhaps having the favor of Moor wouldn't hurt some of our other ventures. And I kind of jerk my head toward the rat hole.
Indeed, and it also seems strangely connected to what we've been dealing lately, because the priest mentioned the von Steiner name, and I think he's the one who is responsible for, well, the fraudulent contract with dwarves that lured them into mining coal.
Excellent observation.
So I don't have any proofs, but I think that he might be behind Restless Gardens, or at least he somehow facilitates it.
Well, perhaps we can ask him some more questions about if there have been any other untimely delays once we've proven our worth. I'm kind of giving the graveyard a side eye as I'm saying all this.
Speaking of which, you might consider switching your spear to something from the Moor's arsenal. Because, well, given the nature of the dead, they don't tend to care much about holes inside their bodies. Whereas mashing them, and with that Albert will wiggle his flail a little bit. Oh, it works wonders.
I kind of nod. I gesture at the top of my spear where you can see the long kind of crossbar. And I said, it's not so much for bashing them, it's for holding them still.
Well, I have only seen The Walking Dead once. It's a long time ago. It was a frightening thing, but if you're quickly, you can bash them into the ground. But is there something, because I'm not so very good with the sword or anything, is there just like a big stick, was it a mace or something, or a club? Was there such a thing?
Or a hammer?
So from the GM, there was a number of different weapons. There was a couple of scythes, there was a crossbow, mostly quite quiet weapons. There was a two-handed axe that looks like a... it looks like the blade is carved in the manner of a raven's wing. Looks kind of neat. And a, let's say, a ceremonial club with a skull on the end. Or a carved skull.
Are any of you? Well, he will take the that cudgel thing.
Yep.
Skull cudgel. And does any of you know how to shoot? I go hunting every now and then, but with a normal bow, not really this contraption.
Yeah, I kind of look at it the same way. I kind of am more of a bird hunter with a bow myself, so I'm not familiar with crossbows so much.
Nah, never been a good shot.
But
Maybe someday later, if I live long enough, there's more blessing. But we have some time to kill before the dawn. So what should we do next?
Well, I don't know what they want us to do. Was there maintenance we needed to do, or what is this graveguard duty?
Well, basically, if we are going to tend to the gardens until the dawn, then it's easy. It's mostly cutting weeds and looking for the headstones or the graves to see if the markings on them are readable.
I would say from the description of, just to fill in any gaps that I said, the implication is most likely that you would be tending to the garden for kind of like a shift, which would be some reasonable amount of hours into the night. Mechanically speaking, you would expect to be fatigued, if not resting before, although the choice would be entirely yours.
yeah, I think I'm gonna rest prior. You know, like as my character. Yeah, no, he's gonna rest before. Like he doesn't have a. He's probably much more nervous than he looks like he is at the moment. Because he's heard stories, but he is also old enough to know that stories don't necessarily line up.
You're not going to sleep here, are you? Because that is bad luck. At least it is where I come from. Gives you bad dreams.
I will. Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to go back to his temporary quarters at the rat hole and wait until his shift comes up and attempt to rest so that he's not completely exhausted by the time he has to be up all night dealing with whatever the hell's coming.
I suppose Alberic will tend to the gardens to the best of his abilities, and when the time for his shift with aggressive undead draws nearer, he'll kind of get into one of the alcoves and rest while meditating and asking for blessing from Moor to aid him in his quest.
And how about for Joris?
He will go with Lanfried. As soon as he notices that he's leaving the graveyard, he will. Oh, wait! I'll go with you. It is safe and all, but it is a spooky place.
Okay.
Although the rat hole is also not really a nice place.
It's not nice, but it's also not a graveyard.
That is true.
I mean, I suppose it kind of could be made better if we throw away that nasty elf bedroll from there, because it kind of ruins everything.
Is that normal? Where do you come from? That there are the bush bandits and mutants just walking around with other people?
No. I kind of just leave it at that.
City folk are weird.
There's the sound of heavy boots, metal, colliding with stone outside, and a rhythmic marching sound as the knight does his first pass by you. He has in front of him, blade held upwards, both hands to his chest. A very mechanical stride to him.
Just a quick appreciation of the cool artwork.
Yeah.
He is creepy as hell. If ever you've seen a curious-looking knight, he is. It's a mixture of boiled leather combined with plates, lots of decorative buckles, and his breastplate is decorated with kind of the appearance of ravens and some other animals. He has kind of like this black cloak that goes right the way down to the floor and drags a couple of feet behind him.
I give him a salute as he's passing us by. I guess this is at the beginning of our shift, or is this as we're leaving?
This is as you're leaving to go and rest. He's seemingly already doing the rounds.
I mean, I give him a salute. I'm curious to see if he acknowledges it or not. I rolled high enough on my I rolled high enough on my cool that I'm brave enough to acknowledge his existence as opposed to scurry.
Yeah, Alberic is strangely excited. That's the coolest thing he ever saw. He wants to be, well, basically be him. So he's just, astonishingly lets the knight pass through, and then he goes down to his knees and sits there a couple of minutes before he can collect himself.
One thing that was particularly captivating that you'd heard about, and you may know the means that it is done, but it typically looks like there's no one within the armour. Usually a black cloth is used sort of over the face underneath the helmet to give the illusion, and seeing it in person, it is quite something to behold.
Yeah, after him not acknowledging me and sort of acting vaguely, well, like the undead, I think I'm just gonna scurry. I'm not. I don't have that much dignity. I think.
Yeah, Chorus is pushing you in your back. You know, move on.
like, keep moving, keep moving.
Have a go. So we'll summarise your investigations and care, Ulbrich, with I'll ask you for an average dexterity, just to see how well you can physically tend to the plants and candles. This is just more of a question of efficiency and care that you're able to put into this.
Yeah, he still kinda cannot get over his fanboyism.
Yeah. One thing that does catch your attention in particular, and your finger, is that most of the plants within here are particularly thorny, and these thorns are sharp, razor sharp in fact. Other than that, it's just very distracting to get much done, given the Warhammer equivalent of a superhero to you is marching around and probably passing you every kind of 20 minutes or so, but once he passes, it's kind of, there's that anticipation of when he's going to again. His march each time is sort of completely uniform, and he doesn't acknowledge you on any of the passes, which just kind of is a testament, you think, to his discipline and faith toward Moor.
He's just the best.
Totally awesome. Got to get a poster of him in your room. Right.
I want him to sign my flail.
Or hit you with it.
I like that.
I would,
jeez.
I would say along your travels, you spot a larger amount of graves than you would think possible for a town of this size. Many of the names, though, are more sort of groups, like this is the resting place of the fishing guild after attack XYZ. There are just lots and lots of groups and conflicts that have led to rather large tombs to be filled. And
oh, by the way, while I'm there, another thing that would all kind of drain my attention to my duties, it would be me looking for, well, my dead relatives in this graveyard. Like anybody with the last name Voss.
Right. There is one grave that we'll come back to. 3 or 4 family members are resting here. One by the name of Voss and a couple who you recall but had remarried. The graves are in need of care and tending to. I'll allow you a separate average dexterity test to see how well you can protect their graves in particular.
Yeah, well, the night is awesome.
Very awesome. Just as like you're going to try and pull up a thorny plant, you just kind of hear him stepping behind you, and like your hand judders, and before you know it, you've got another 3 holes in your finger. There is one other grave that you recall your ancestor telling you a number of stories of. A witch hunter that he worked with, one who eventually took his own life, having felt that he had betrayed his oath and betrayed Sigmar, and he was burned alive within the town of Tahme, and he rests at a fairly sort of nondescript resting place. There is a small a very small carving to Sigmar there, but not what you would expect of a witch hunter. It would certainly seem that not a lot of finance was put toward his tombstone. And I will have to remember my last campaign, but I believe his name was Heinrich?
Yeah, rings a bell.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. A colleague of Matthias. Older, a veteran of quite a few wars and crusades. So, while you are swooning over your night and the others back at the rat hole, is there anything you gentlemen are doing before having a light rest?
Did you see that night? That black night? It came out of the air like a bat, it seemed. He is a scary looking dude. I mean, the priests, they, it's like my mama said, they do dress up, but I mean, he's in professional. I've never seen anything like it.
I think I just listen nodding while I methodically sharpen the tip of the spear, the blade part. I mean, I'm nodding, I'm listening, but I'm kind of focused on keeping my mind clear.
He's.
I agree, kind of.
He's standing in the room, and while he's talking, he's sort of weighing the moor club in his hand and giving it a couple of swings.
Warm up
this
a little bit.
Strange. Feels cold like that. Weird. I must say, ever since I got to this town, nothing makes sense and nothing is familiar. It's like the world is upside down. Inside is out, and vice versa.
I wish I could say that felt different for me, but I feel like I've been dragged into a story that isn't my own. I'm kind of thinking about my uncle.
I'm glad at least that the priests are still here. It is not a place forsaken by the gods, although it does seem so. But what was the name that the man mentioned? He said he had sent for people and they did not come, and he said, was it the name of that other fat man, or what was it? What name was it?
Looking at the wall, there are a few pictures as reminders. Von Steiner, the same man who had misled Bucky into signing away the dwarven mining rights. The man said to be in league or business partners with Von Rath.
Yeah.
The cheese man.
Yes.
Interrupting your rest, a halfling, an elf, and a physician return to the rat hole, exchanging a tale of their day, and that, quite frankly, they've had enough and are going to bed. They smell foul, all of sewage, and explain to you that the sewers are best avoided as they are full of mutants. Horrible mutants, all of them holding their stomachs, looking rather unwell. Save for the elf, who still looks like an elf, unfortunately.
So he's unreadable, basically, for us normal people.
They also update you that and point toward the wall where von Brotman, the one of the noblemen within town, one of the council members. His name had been mentioned, and you see his name up on the wall as well, a small portrait drawn. His name has curator of the Ryan Temple, ? And bread, ?
Have we seen a Ryan Temple? We have not, have we?
I don't think we've gone there yet.
You've not been there, but let's just say over in the distance, you've seen you've seen one.
Mm-hmm.
It's curiously far from the Hunter's Lodge.
It is another thing. I mean, all the nobles, it's a thing that is upside down. All the nobles, they should take care of the peoples. I mean, they hand out money like it is nothing, but at the same time, they do nothing what nobles should do. And you said that says Ryan Temple? Asking you, I mean, you can't read, so.
I'm actually not literate, but I also understand nobles, so I kind of lean back. I'm not literate, but I do know nobles.
Okay.
And I kind of ponder this, and I said, what you must understand is that the more wealth you have, the easier it is to pretend that things are well. And my grandfather once warned me that the one thing he treasured about his time working with Lord Sigurd was that despite his many, many, many flaws, he was one of the rare nobles who would not ignore something just because it was convenient. But most nobles I have found in my life and through my family's almost century of service in the Reichland is that most of them are very happy to ignore problems if they can get away with doing so.
Yes. This town must be very wealthy then, if they can ignore so much.
Or very desperate.
Yes.
I don't ponder that.
My great uncle used to tell me some stories of a wizard here. Don't remember his name, but never mentioned any secrets.
I'd laugh like there's a secret joke. I'm the only person who knows the story. I just kind of leave that alone. I don't really give him an answer. I just kind of laugh to myself a little bit and keep sharpening my spear.
It is quite an adventure in this town, I must say. Still curious who the person is that brought us all here, because that has not become clear at all.
No. Have I had a chance to talk to the elf at all? I don't think I have, actually. We've been probably crossing paths.
You exchange words while here, so you're able to catch up on each other's explorations, theories.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, I kind of just... It's... Clearly there's a conspiracy going here, but it's still eluding Lanfried's full understanding.
Okay. We'll turn to Ulbrich for a moment, who is currently tending to some roses, the thorny ones, when firstly your GM asks you for one more dexterity test for this particularly thorny business.
Still average?
This is still average.
looks like I learned something about thorns. You best to avoid them.
Yeah, you're going to just move it. You can hear the night in the background, and you're like, wait, I know what happens next. You keep your hand still. The night passes. Your hand steadies, and you avoid a particularly nasty-looking thorn. Your hand flinches a little as a woman's voice with her head covered to your side greets you. Good afternoon.
He'll turn towards her and bow without uttering a word.
She does a Morite greeting to you, a well-executed, more formal priest-like greeting, one less used by the common folk. You should be mindful of the thorns. They tend to bleed a lot.
He answers back with a greeting, and upon doing so, he could easily see how much he had been stabbing himself through the day. And yes, you have a point.
I hear via a little birdie that you're going to be joining the night shift here. I'm very excited.
Yes, me too. I hope that I can prove myself to, well, a certain individual.
Oh, really? And who would that be?
He kind of nods toward the mechanically marching knight.
Oh, you have your eyes on becoming a hero. A champion.
Well, if the gods are willing to provide their blessings, then yes. Otherwise, I suppose I find a nice, cozy place in this garden.
Yes, champion or corpse. I do think the first one has a rather more romantic ring to it, though.
Yes, but sooner or later I still growl here. But it would be best, I agree, if during my lifetime I achieve something.
Good. You have a good spirit and a good attitude. Tahme is in need of men like yourselves. I've brought a gift for you. And holds out a small leather pouch. It's a dirt for the eyes.
Dirt? Is there something special about it?
Oh yes, very.
For the eyes, you say?
For your work this evening. I hear the geist lights are rather tempting.
That's very cryptic, but thank you for your gift. And with that, Albert will take the pouch and look inside.
It looks like it might be ground up bone. Maybe? It's kind of got that a familiar smell of death to it.
I probably will sniff it once I get a whiff.
I wouldn't snort at all. Never tried so myself, but should you find yourself having trouble seeing, a rub in the eyes often brings clarity for some.
I feel like I had something like that before.
Yes. Yes, I did hear you enjoyed the drinks. Made them myself.
I don't know if I should thank you or curse you, but... well, thank you for the gift at least.
She gives you a wink. There's no curse you can give me that I don't already have. You don't live to this age without a good collection of them. Now, enjoy your shift, and if you boys need any help, the Stragani are always happy to help save the world.
He'll bow again. And stuff his new pouch into his pocket of his new robe. Then moving upwards in the society.
The night begins to pass one more time. Only this time, she nods to the night. The night stops and nods back.
No shit, drop my parcel.
To her. I'll put in a good word for you. Good luck, boys. Good luck. And walks away. With one quietly said phrase of, "I shall be by the docks if you need me." You just faintly hear as she elegantly strolls away with a somewhat joyous stride.
Well, alright, I suppose I'll be almost in love with her because the knight nodded to her. My god.
Indeed. Your goddess, perhaps. Gentlemen, I think it is time for a 5-minute bio for drinks, snackums, and whatever else. I'll see you in 5. And also thank you very kindly for the donation. This stream was not brought to you by Wizards of the Coast. Take care.
Hello again, gentlemen. Welcome back. Ta-da. We return to the rat hole, where two individuals getting up after an afternoon nap begin to head through town to the Garden of Moor, where both of you are met by a young lady. Beautiful, elegant Strigani. She approaches without saying anything, but kind of stands in your way in the middle of the street and just kind of smiles at the two of you.
Awkwardly smile back.
I don't smile, I narrow my eyes. Tell me, what do you have for us to drink today, madam?
Oh, nothing. Nothing to drink today. I have given a little gift to your rather Moorish friend. Very eager. Try to keep him alive if you can. You'll need him.
Dare I ask for what, considering how things went the last time I listened to you? I kind of tilt my head.
You left the cup, though.
Ah, that was one of the girls, not myself. This is our first time meeting, in fact.
Forgive me. I don't often get accosted by unusual women.
Yes. I bet you don't. I
laugh at that.
I wanted to wish both of you good luck. And to say that Tahme appreciates what you're doing to help.
Are you a fortune teller?
She sort of looks as if she's actually wondering, is she a fortune teller? I have been called that in the past. Not for a long time, but yes.
Oh, could you read my palm? He's already grabbing his purse. Every gypsy that passes through his little village is either a fortune teller or something else.
Okay. She asks for your hand and puts her handkerchief over the top. Looks side to side, and a few people are giving kind of sussy looks, the usual sort of looks that people give the Strigani. Let's put on Strigani music, because I think that would just be good. Oh, not that music. That was the other that was the other tavern music. Purple tavern songs. There we go. Right. She's just looking down at her handkerchief over your hand. Takes a deep breath. What's your full name, Joris?
Joris Jomerson.
She lists your full name. Son of... She lists your father's name. She explains that you received a letter recently, alongside an heirloom. And you've come to Tahme to lay rest to your father and inform your uncle of his passing. At which point she offers her condolences for his passing and says that he was a very good man, a brave man, and that Ulrich was particularly proud of him. She then goes on to rather cryptically hint that she knows exactly where you've been the past few days. She talks through the tavern and the damsel who you graciously declined the advances of, and finishes with just a sweet smile.
Sins of Ulrich can tell upon you. Then Joris wipes away a little tear after the remark about his father. Truly, truly magnificent. Thank you, thank you. Glad to see some point of normality in this town as well. And he gives her a silver.
She does a small curtsy, takes the silver, and writes a small note on a piece of paper. Do you mind if I lean on... Asks to lean on your back, not Joris, Lanfried. Do you mind if
I smile in exchange for one small question, but yes, and I sort of make room for her to write
while you're like bending.
I just bend over. My grandfather. Where is he?
As you start to say, "Where is he?" she says, "Santiago." She explains that you look quite a bit like him. Your Reichland accent is...
I don't sound Chilean when I speak at all.
Yeah, she says that you're a lot easier to comprehend, but that might explain some of the challenges with the Reichland ladies.
Sad sigh.
As you can hear her kind of scribbling on your back, and like she seems to be doing like quite a lot of squiggles. She explains that he's gone, but you will see him again.
Good. See, my grandfather warned me about talking to women like this.
Wow, especially with music like that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It was a funny turn there. But that's because of his uncle and his grandfather and him hanging around with them, getting maybe a little bit into the alcohol while they were babysitting him as a small child. He's probably heard more of the secret history and embarrassing history of Lord Sighard, whom no one else seems to know exists, than most people. And so he also has learned that the one thing that causes them to break into cursing is gypsy women. So he's sort of assuming that they're all kind of like, in his mind, they're kind of all like one entity. Like, he's not entirely convinced that her saying, "Oh, I'm not the woman you met before," he's not convinced of that. Like, whether it's true or not, he's deeply paranoid, especially since she was wearing masks and stuff, so there's no way for him to really know.
Yes. And she rolls up the paper afterwards. "Thank you very much for the use of your back. Very strong. You'll do just fine." She gives the paper a kiss and gives it to you, Joris. "Read it when you need it, and no sooner. Emergencies only."
Thank you. Thank you. He grabs it like it's the most precious thing in the world and puts it carefully in his pouch. Thank you, miss. You see, my friend, the Strigani, they, my grandfather taught me that, my great uncle, that he had a peculiar relation with them, but he said they had special ways. He proved it. It was most remarkable.
I nod in agreement, kind of watching her as she's walking away.
She walks as if she knows you're watching.
Oh, I'm sure. Genre savvy thanks to drunk old grandpa. Thank you, Grandpa.
Yep. Many people have been given a cautionary tale regarding the Strigani, and rightly so. You make your way over to the Garden of Moor, where a somewhat worked and dirtied Ulbrich is there within the gardens, awaiting.
Give him a respectful nod and get ready to go on our nightly patrol, I guess. I get my lantern ready.
So where do we start? And is that Black Knight still around?
Is he?
He is. He's been doing rounds the whole time.
Yes, he's around. That's the most awesome thing I ever seen.
Yes, he is truly impressive, but gives me the creeps a bit. But I guess we are safer with him than without him.
I'm sure that he doesn't even really need our help. But still, we must provide.
Yes.
In time of need. And not to mention that it is one of my strictures that I have to follow.
As you are conversing, a small breeze picks up, and a few of the candles near you all begin to flicker. A small amount. One of them within your vicinity is blown out.
I'm going to take one of the candles and light my Myrmidian lantern and keep an eye on it.
I suppose I better light my lantern as well.
Okay.
And in fact, I think the priests provided us with some additional candles.
Additional candles, and you are given a an oil lighter.
Walking light.
Yeah, that's the one. I was trying to think of the terminology for it. You're each afforded one of those. The priest does approach and give you each a blessing for the evening. It's done in silence with some hand gestures that are familiar to some and creepy and eerie to others. This is a different priest, just so I can use some different artwork. Let's go with... Yes, I do like this one. A similarly robed individual, this one with a scepter, only his beard kind of pokes out the bottom of his mask, making him look a little like a bearded skeleton. Amusing, creepy, terrifying, some combination of all of them. But several gestures later, he points down to one of the candles beside you, another that has begun to go out. And at this point, the wind begins to pick up slightly. You can see over through the garden, probably a quarter of the candles, and this is of some 100, are beginning to be extinguished.
Well, looks like it's time to do our job. And with that, Albert will crouch and light the nearest candles to him with his lighter.
Okay. I'm going to ask each of you for a combined roll. So we're going to do a combination of an average dexterity and an average athletics. And I'd like to ask what the total SL is, but we're not going to count negatives. I'll let you track your own. But I'll ask you each what the total SL adds up to.
Average athletics and average dexterity.
Dex and athletics, that's right. If you've got sleight of hand, you can roll that.
I have 6.
Okay.
Total.
Two for me.
Nothing.
6, 2, and 0. Okay. Excellent. Now, I will allow rerolls for this as you begin to realise the impact of this. About a minute into this task, each of you in varying locations of the garden now, somewhat spread out to cover as much ground as possible, see the earth in front of you begin to shift slightly. A hand begins to reach out, or a head, or a foot, as you are each lighting a candle, and just as the flame takes, the hand subsides back into the earth. Now, I'll offer one opportunity for any rerolls, but you do not have to. I'm perfectly happy with the rolls as is.
Oh,
I mean, I'll keep my rolls because they're not terrible. Okay.
I will do one reroll because after seeing that, he's frantically going to use a fortune point. There you go.
That's better.
Okay.
I
Marvellous.
think I'll kill mine. Yeah, I'll keep mine, and it looks like a perfect opportunity to rub some bone dust into my eyes.
Yep. Okay.
Maybe a little bit into my gums.
Okay. As you apply this to your eyeballs, and it does sting something awful. As your vision clears, well, it doesn't really clear, but you can see the flames more clearly. They stand out more. There's almost like someone's turned the contrast up on your vision, and it affords a slight ease of navigating the garden. It also provides a glow as to where the knight is. You can see he's probably some 30 yards from you currently. He has this kind of strange purplish hue coming from him, but it's, let's say, like a comforting light. The other side of the garden, there is a bluish hued light that is beginning to emerge, although difficult to make out what it is. The other side of much shrubbery.
And can I tell if there are less candles in the bluey side of garden?
You can tell more of them are going out.
Then I suppose I'll have to make haste over there
Okay.
and try to kind of light more candles on the way of the bluish stuff.
I think I'm using my holy lantern, which maybe helping, at least in my own mind.
Okay.
I'm sort of talking prayers to Mormidia and to Moor as I'm walking around, being like, "Oh, this is end poorly."
I'm going to ask each of you. This is more of to kind of like help summarize the evening, to make an attack. An average attack of your choice, of your weapon, whatever suits. Just plus 20.
It will be this.
And I will explain all of these rolls in just a moment.
Oh, I'm a use a fortune to re-roll that, and it's the same. Much sad. All right.
Okay. That puts you up
Yeah,
to...
I can't fail. It's my duty after all. I'll use my fortune point too.
You can't fail, but you can flail.
Indeed.
Forgive me more, for I have sinned. Right. So, in the next or first half hour, you are all hurriedly trying to race against these candles coming out, limbs reaching from the ground. Occasionally you are able to find a head which just simply needs a little bit of encouragement to push it back underground, a knock of the flail, a stab of the spear. It is difficult, Lanfried. You end up jabbing the ground more than the body parts. It's somewhat easier for a club, you find, Joris, as you're able to basically bonk a couple of the undead back in, but you find yourselves with an escalating amount of candles that are gradually going out. Yourself, Erhard, in this region of space that has this sort of general illumination for you. It is hard to say where it's coming from, if anywhere. It's almost like just this area of light. It starts blue, and then as you get closer, it kind of begins to combine with green lightning-like protrusions in the soil and ground around you. Here you have your work cut out for you. Now, each of you finding you are unable to keep up with the task at hand. First, we come to Lanfried. You turn around and there are two dead currently looking you in the face. Ulbrich, there are 4. Joris, there are 3. You find yourselves cornered by these. Able to run, certainly, but caught somewhat off guard by them. I will ask each of you, as these undead are within only a few, sort of a couple of yards from you, what you will do. These slow, shambling creatures certainly give you an opportunity to react.
So for fear, I would have to pass a fear check just to be able to do anything other than run, correct?
Yes. Well, to approach them, you would need a positive test.
I'm going to use a fortune on that.
And here's where we have some stimulating artwork,
Ow.
to remind you that the dead are...
Yeah, I can't actually approach it, and despite using fortune, apparently I'm just absolutely scared of them. I think I freeze, to be honest. I might freeze just out of shock. Yeah, exactly.
I'll just load up 3 images for now. Let's go for... Sure. You look nice. Creepy, nasty, scary-looking dead things, all shambling toward. Yes, Joris, your instinct is to run. Ulbrich, yours is to do your duties or run, depending on what seems more practical at this point in time. Lanfried, again, running would seem slightly more sensible. So I'll ask those that are running first where you would like to run to.
I think I just freeze, because if they advance on me, do I have to run? I'm trying to remember exactly how it works.
Basically, you're first in the initiative order because they're crap.
Okay.
In terms of initiative. So you have the opportunity to turn and run. There's no freeze.
I think I will run toward Albrecht, wherever he's at.
Okay.
Partly because I'm not prepared to deal with being outnumbered. This is my logic.
Yep.
On my own, so I'm gonna run for reinforcements because I don't know he's got more guys with him than me.
Sure.
I'm gonna regroup. Tactical pause. Yeah, that's the word.
I suppose it's easy to locate me in the garden because I have a storm lantern as well. It's kind of dislodged a little bit, so it shines behind me, not in front of me, because I don't really need it. So I kind of forget about that I had it.
And Joris, where does your mind tell you to run?
You know what? I will just run in a random direction where there's no shambling dead. But I will shout, they're here, over here, help, help.
I will ask you to roll a d10. On a 9, you accidentally run to the players. On a 10, you run into the Black Knight. On anything else, you're on your Todd. You're basically just running away from them. They are slower than you. Life may get a little more complicated, however. So, we're going to turn to Ulbrich for a moment, and your, 4 zombies to deal with while the others are running. So we'll try and take these rounds one by one. So, you do have the opportunity to attack first, Ulbrich.
Is there any way I can position myself so I can gain cover from at least one of them? As sort of stand behind of a headstone or a dome, so they wouldn't be able to attack me all at once.
I'll say absolutely yes. Make a quick. Would it be initiative? Make an average perception very quickly, just to kind of see what you can plan. See if you can maybe find somewhere to kind of get them one by one, perhaps. Depending on the roll. Okay. The best thought you have is one of the tombs that you're next to, you take a step up onto. It's at least going to afford you some slight advantage.
Alright, and are they armed with anything but their armors?
With sharp, pointy teeth and hands, but no, nothing else. Biting, gnawing hands. I would say long fingernails that look unsettling. They vaguely resemble claws.
Alright, well, I will attack the nearest to me, and I would like to use, well, my flail, and I suppose it has a longer reach than their hands, so I should at least get another advantage on my attack.
Yes. Yeah.
Given the difference between the reach.
Yes, you will get a free advantage. So the trade-off for your perception is you have your advantage for being there, but you're also a little stuck for now. So you are somewhat committed to fighting your way out of this. So I've put a zombie token there for you to make an attack against. Doink. There we go. Just to make life a little bit easier. Hopefully you are able to see.
Yeah, I just have to shuffle lovely pictures out of my way.
You can close them if you need, or you can just keep staring. It's fine if you like them. I'll move him down there for now.
By the way, how do I select a target for my attack? Because I've never done that.
Right
click.
Should be able to just right click the token.
Double right click, maybe.
Yep, I saw a green there for a second. I think it's double right click.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
So, counting my advantages, I do get 2, right? One from reach and the second one from me being on top of the tombstone.
Sure. They'll get 1 for outnumbering, but that'll be it. But 2 for yourself. Swing well. We'll be counting them as a group, effectively. I will carry over a little bit of excess damage, as is. Actually, no, there's only 4. No, they're not a swarm yet. Right. A decent hit. An attempted defense, which is likely going to end in pain. Right. The first one is struck cleanly, and the flail simply wraps around the dead man's neck, causing it to fall and stumble down onto the floor, the body slumping. You can add yourself up to 3 advantage. As you get to 4, you'll get to make an extra attack. And you're going to have a couple of zombies attempt to claw at your feet and legs and try to grab a hold and pull you down. So we're going to go with this, and we're going to go with that. You can include your 3 advantage to defend, and here is your roll. I've not done it as opposed. That is, I think I may have rolled it to myself, but do not fret. It is -4. -4 to beat.
Do I resist it with my melee attack as well?
With whatever you want to. You could try and dodge it, I guess. It's not easy stood up there, so melee is probably the best. Okay. And that is zombie number 1. Number 2 is going to attempt the same. And a +2 to beat this time.
Yeah, but given that I successfully dodged the first attack, do I get to raise my advantage by 1?
I would only give... I think we'll have to cap how much you can get from an opposed test per turn, otherwise you'll end up with a massive amount very, very quickly. So
seems fair.
1 per opposed test per round. And looks like a potential...
I feel like it would be a good point to use another fortune point.
Certainly could be. good luck. Hopefully that's including your... Does advantage still give the plus with the group system? I forget.
Depends. You save up advantage and then you use it to do like dirt in the
it doesn't
eye
give
and
plus
stuff like
10s anymore though, does it?
You can still use it like that, I think.
Oh, you can. Okay, but okay, interesting. I need to actually double check that.
But you spend advantage, so
yes,
right.
Yeah.
It's burned as you use
gotcha.
it.
So when you use it, yeah. Okay. Are you re-rolling that, Ulbrich, or are you sticking with your +0?
Yeah, I'm re-rolling, but it only allows me to add 1 success value. So I will roll
yes, you can't re-roll you can only re-roll a failed test. I, however, will overrule that because you have failed because you're about to be bitten on the arm. So you can just roll it again if you need, and -1 fortune.
Yeah, noise.
Okay. That will be...
That seems to be the theme with fortune today.
11 damage mitigated by toughness and armour to your arm, as one of them, while you're swinging your weapon, manages to bite down. This will be undamaging, so any armour you have on the area will be doubled, but they effectively just start biting into your arm. Now, we will return to you in a moment, because we have 2 runners currently. If we go to Lanfried, I believe that you were trying to avoid the dead and running towards Ulbrich, if I'm correct?
Yes, strength in numbers.
Good. I will ask you for a dodge roll, please. Average, as you run through a few hands along the way that are reaching out of the ground towards you.
Oop, I did it to myself. But, let's see. Still
test.
1 SL. Still 1 SL.
Okay.
I don't know why it says drive test. I rolled the...
Sure.
The dodge test.
Okay. So basically...
hold on, let me try that again. I apologize. Maybe I clicked the
That's
wrong.
all right. We'll count the roll as 52 for whatever your target is. If you have a dodge of 60, then... fine.
65, but
yeah,
yes,
it's
anyway,
fine.
so it's 1.
So basically, one hand is just starting to come out of the ground, and you manage to step on the fingers, bending them backwards as you just run through 2 of these sort of lurching beasts behind you. You're able to make your way over to Ulbrich, and you can see him with 3 dead currently clawing toward him. He is stood on top of a tomb right now. Not surrounded, but it would appear that the dead are kind of catching up
This
with
is not
you.
This is not an improvement.
No. Your
Well, that's depressing.
Your rolls for gardening sort of sucked.
Hey, my rolls were fine. Everybody else just couldn't do anything.
Warhammer gardening is hard, harder than it looks. Now, in the middle of no man's land currently, or no living man's land, we have a Yoris. You're on your own. You can see 2 shambling, kind of like a quick walking pace, dead things moving towards you. Any plans from here?
Yes, he was running away, shouting for help, and he realizes that he can outrun them. That calms his nerves a bit. So, at this point, he remembers there was a crossbow somewhere, and realizes that it's good to have range between you and something, and that shooting might be helpful.
Sure.
So, he's probably going to get that thing.
To run back to the armory to go get a crossbow. Sure. This is very smart. I will
also
ask...
the armory is an inside, and that seems safe.
It's probably got less dead people in it, right? I will.
There certainly are less dead people in the tomb. Yes.
I will ask you for an average dodge, please, just to try and avoid any hands that are trying to grope you on your travels.
Dodge.
Yes.
Can I do brawling instead?
Yeah, you can try and just club them as you go past, if you like. Okay. A short bit of whack-a-mole as you go through. You're able to see, you see like 4 candles that are out, and rather than stopping to light the candles, it's easier to just bonk, 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 bonk. 4 skulls caved in rather quickly. It seems to a Nordlander somewhat impractical to light candles when a bonk is a lot swifter. You're able to make it to the armory where a priest is stood with a crossbow and just hands it to you, and kind of like chuckles a little bit.
Well, at least someone thinks it's funny.
I will say,
Do you require a little bit of assistance?
He just stands there and takes the crossbow. Yes, the squishy dead people are walking out of the graves. Come, where is the big black knight? We need help.
gives you a whistle.
He blows it frantically, instantly.
Okay, that's out. It's got quite like a bird-like sound to it. It actually sounds a little bit like a raven squawking. So like, basically, you're now squawking away on this.
Yeah, he runs away, whistle in the mouth.
And various other crow noises.
Well.
Sure. We'll come back to your shooting successes in a moment. Ulbrich, it will be you to go again. You have 3 with you currently. You do suspect more will be on the way shortly. With the rate of these candles going out. You do notice around you as well, in between bonking these things on the head, this vein-like structure to the ground, green, again, lightning-like appearance, and a very small amount of dust on these dead people. Glows a similar translucent green. It catches your eye as they're providing some light, basically, that makes them a little more easier to see. Right, what would you like to do?
Well, it certainly feels more like a last stand for my character because he can't run.
I would say with a, if you could dodge your way out of this and go somewhere new, but if you bonk one on the head, get an advantage, you'll get a free bonk. So
yeah, I'll gamble and try do that because what could go wrong?
absolutely, what could go wrong?
Nothing. Nothing will go wrong.
Right. They have less of an... Well, they will have... Ah, there we go. I barely need to bother rolling.
Yes.
Right. They have less of an outnumbering bonus now. That was not quite right. That should be 31. But either way, a successful attack from yourself, easily making your way through the left hip of one of these creatures, shattering it and making this corpse kind of fall to the floor. You can see it writhing and wriggling around trying to right itself, but it's effectively a supine turtle for the purposes of combat. You can with your advantage, do as you please now. Another attack is available to you to consume your 4 advantage.
Sure, let's try it.
You have 2 of them. Still biting and gnawing.
Yeah, surely the last one won't kill me.
Surely.
Me with my 3 health.
Yeah, your arm is bleeding quite like you don't have bleeding conditions, but for the sake of that bite, that was like quite deep.
It was a manly bite.
It was a manly bite. Yeah, there's a chunk missing. Okay, let's have a zombie roll.
Before zombie rolls, can I re-roll it?
You certainly can.
Much better.
Much better. And that will be enough to send another one of these. Although the impact is relatively light to its head, it is sort of instantly knocked out by it. Basically, your weapon has kind of the equivalent to pummel, but anywhere you hit, it's just incredibly easy to stun these things with a decent strike. And so one of them, the top or bottom one, so the skinny one or the one with lots of teeth, which one would you like to be removed?
Yeah, I don't like teeth from this.
The bitey one. The bitey one is...
not a big fan of teeth.
Is no more. Right. Now, I'll provide opportunity here, because we do have someone coming to help you. We have Lanfred arriving at the scene as well. Your initiative will be before this beast, which you see attempting to bite onto the arm of Ulbrich that is already drenched in red blood.
So I'm probably going to try to charge it from behind. I can burn. I know I was affected by fear prior, although we outnumber the one left.
You are roll a cool test for me, please, to see if you're
to
see if you can overcome the sensation of fear. Otherwise, a resolve may be needed to.
Challenging.
Challenging, yes.
Does he
heck no.
encouragement from me slaying 2 beasts?
I'll give you a bonus of plus 20, but 84
roll
is
like
is,
that.
So
I'll burn one of my resolve.
Okay, you can just simply remove your fear condition with that.
Yep.
So you're no longer afraid. And go ahead and make your attack. You're attacking it from behind. You outnumber it. It's trying to bite Ulbrich. So have a plus 40.
All right. Moment. Make this right. And oh, I am not doing great, but he is distracted and he's a zombie. So,
so I feel like
I may actually use my last. I'm going to use my last fortune point to reroll that.
It's not a terrible. It's a wow.
Now that is the AI has decided that it thinks this is funny.
Okay.
So
I have this image in my head of you running at him from behind with a spear, and it basically helping to kind of hoist him up onto where he's trying to reach, and basically making his life a little bit easier to reach Ulbrich, who he's desperately trying to bite.
You've angered the spirit of Sighard.
Yes, I've angered the spirit of Sighard, definitely.
It's outnumbered. You have the high ground. This is just one of those straight rolls. That's a pretty good one. It's not got any other bonuses now due to numbers, so you have a +1 to beat in defense, Ulbrich. Good luck.
I'm helping.
Yeah, basically it's got a spear like lodged in its back. It doesn't really care.
My pushing it over did not work the way as it was intended.
Come on. Oof.
Nice.
A dark deal?
Might as well.
How do you feel about corruption today? It's certainly...
You can use a thingy point to just roll a 1.
You can also use
or an
resilience
11.
and fate, of course, but or you can just see what the crit is and bask in the amazement of being damaged, or a dark deal, whatever you like. Oh, the gods have spoken.
Yes.
Right.
Aggressively worse.
It's actually worse. Yeah, I was going to say.
Zombie,
Indeed.
Ulbrich.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's not good.
it feels like I'll burn in my fate as well.
Well, you can see what the critical is first.
Well, I burn in it for a different reason. Not to avoid critical, but to avoid dying.
Well, yes, but you can see what the critical is because you're not dead yet.
Yeah, true.
It may just be
It's
a major eye wound. Oof. So it's
Yes, one eye.
one bleeding condition, and one blinded condition. If you're happy with one bleeding condition, then we can stick with the crit.
not if you're below 0, because then you'll go
Right.
unconscious.
Oh yes, I know there's a 1 in 10 chance of death, but there's also a man with a spear there who might be able to save you.
I don't know, given the way I've been rolling with said spear.
What do you think, Ulbrich?
I'll take everything.
Take it like a hero. Injuries make for interesting characters, I think. And we can see what happens with the rest of combat. Right. We're going to turn to Joris now, who is frantically blowing his whistle. You can hear the sound of metal boots following you, and as well as that, does Ulbrich make any noise when he's hit? Strict orders to not scream, but do you think that, seeing as your face is being bitten, that you do?
Well, at the same moment, I also lose my consciousness, so I probably make a noise of a sack of potato dropping on the ground, so not really screaming.
Okay.
Yeah. Agreed.
I will say that you are aware of where the conflict is taking place, Joris, just because there's these dancing figures like silhouettes in front of a lantern. At least makes for an entertaining puppet show. But it's up to you. You have a handful of dead following you by now. They're slower than you, so what would you like to do?
I will go, "Grah, grah, grah," and yeah, go in their direction and try to shoot something.
The direction of the dead or your friends?
My friends.
Okay.
Probably just, don't look behind you. No, nothing there. He's fine.
Okay.
Just,
I will ask for one. I'll give you a choice of either a dodge roll, and you could potentially fire this round, or you can make an attack and kind of get there more safely, but you won't be able to fire your crossbow as well. It'll be an average test, though.
Dodge. Average dodge?
Yes.
Cool, I'll try that. No. But it kind of. This seems like one of those moments that you would be cool to have it work, right?
Certainly could be.
What was the...
How many fortune you guys got left?
No, I've got no fortune left. But what was the one where you say, okay, I keep getting what is what?
A resilience lets you pick the dice. Or a dark deal you could re-roll.
It's doing two things at once. I want to say roll an 11.
You want to roll an 11.
Or it's a dodge, so you
What
don't do
I'll
any
say
critical things.
is, because
Pass.
an amazing dodge is lame, I will say that you can use the resilience to fire your crossbow and pass the dodge test simultaneously.
Yeah.
So the dodge, like the fingers just reach out and like grab a few threads of your foot, and
Yeah, it trips me over, and I do a forward roll and grab the crossbow and somehow magically come in the right position and shoot. Like that.
yeah.
Hollywood style.
While tumbling, you have the strangest experience of almost being carried through the tumble. You have like the whistle in your mouth, and like as you're rolling, you're clawing.
Trying not to swallow it.
But you actually feel like you're kind of being guided through this. And as you open your eyes, just like the crossbow is pointed perfectly at the head of this zombie that's like doing the kind of Dracula reeling its head back before going for the final chow down. And you can fire me a crossbow and we can just see what the critical hit says, just for extra narrative fluff, but it's clearly going to
ruin a day.
How close is it?
plus 40. It's also being held by a spear, which
Hint it down.
well, it'll magically turn to an 11, so that's well, it goes to the head, but yeah, it's a shame you can't edit the bleeding. You can't edit hit location, can you?
You have to edit the roll.
Ah, there we go.
Right.
Try and click critical again. See what happens. Probably say black eye. Ear bash. Okay, so basically it goes in one ear and out the other, kind of like lodging halfway through its head, and just tumbles over to the side slowly. Lanfried, the undead, goes limp. Behind you, Yoris, you suspect 3 of these lurchers to be making their way toward you, but you hear a clean swing and thump, thump, thump. Behind you, a knight looking particularly knighty. Now, I just had an idea. And this is wonderful. Ulbrich, remind me again of the question you had posed for Moor. Was it the skeletons?
Yeah, he asked why. What's the meaning of that?
While unconscious, laying on this tomb, with a zombie trying to bite you, being held in place between the tomb and a spear, and then bolted through the head, you are having a vision. Your vision goes outside of yourself, above, and is kind of drawn up into the sky as if you are kind of the eye of a crow. Before it then plummets down towards the ground, you imagine this bird kind of flying down, and it goes directly into the ground, but almost as if it can travel through the earth itself. And while travelling through, you can see the dead climbing up. The ground here has this greenish mineral frequently present, and as you're going down you can hear the sounds of scurrying, you can hear machinery, you can hear hissing, lots of hissing, squeaks, rats, vermin. And your vision, as you continually sort of plummet down inside the earth, just turns completely green before you gain consciousness again. Barely. I will ask for a test from Lanfrey to stop the bleeding.
Be a... What would that be?
I think it's an average dex to just bandage.
Right.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if I have any medical skills. I don't think I have any.
Yeah, you don't need to bandage, although it can be helpful.
No. I'm gonna try to bandage his head after the zombie trying to bite him got blown away.
Stop that bleeding.
Right. Of course.
Of course.
Of course. You know what? Actually, I am going to... Is it resilience to succeed?
Yep, he's got a 10% chance of death right now, so you could let him roll a d10 as well. Those are options.
He's conscious until he fails an endurance test.
Right. Okay.
I don't think that you need to roll any resilience, but because I am going to burn my fate, so it automatically kind of makes me not dead. Well, it is not dying, and it probably removes my conditions, but I am no longer part of the combat.
Yeah. Okay.
So you just had a divine experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can certainly do that if you wish. To basically regain full clarity within your vision, perhaps still slightly muffled in one eye due to this dirt that you had partaken in, but seeing around you clearly and hearing, now that you are awake, the sound of you've probably heard tale of machines, war machines, and experiments in Altdorf. Perhaps your time in cities, you've heard them. You hear something similar underneath. It's not quite mining, but perhaps familiar to a miner. Something industrial.
Yeah.
And as you're awake, you can still hear it very faintly.
It was all once he awake, he'll make an attempt to quickly get up and regain composure, but given his state, he done it very poorly, immediately plummeting down to the earth.
Okay. I will ask you for what sort of role should we put this to? As you awaken, because fate points are kind of awesome. We need something awesome to happen. I'm going to ask you for a willpower average, please, Ulbrich. Okay. As you step off of this, your boots hit the ground. There's this kind of tremor that echoes out from that point all through the garden. And as it makes its way across the ground, those shambling dead that are moving toward you just crumble, falling downwards. And the rain for a moment stops.
You know what? I kind of have a feeling that I need to rest a little bit, so I suppose I'll lie down for a bit. Folks.
I think I just kind of relax into my spear, like looking around, making sure this is all over. Bad dream.
Priest, what happened? He looks at you in awe.
I've been blessed by more. I survived, and I think he talked to me. He showed me things. Horrible things that are afoot in this town.
Of course it's horrible. I'm gonna take my spear out of the dead person and look at it. Curse
But
myself.
yet he also gave clue. I think we should talk to miners as soon as possible. They might be able to tell us what's going on, or at least provide any additional information, because I don't have enough knowledge to kind of understand what's going on under this town, but it's certainly not good. Green is the color.
I look at Alberic and raise an eyebrow, kind of looking to make sure he didn't get hit too hard in the head.
I look at
he did.
Choris looks at the sky. Is more sleep out?
No.
Good. It's the first good news I've heard all day.
When is the next Dixie Nacht?
I'm not certain.
Something in your head says it's probably soon.
Great.
There's never good news in Warhammer.
No. Gradations of bad and worse.
Yep.
Blood and blood. Are there any candles going out, or are they quietly burning?
They are all burning.
Still,
Stepping outside to join you is a priest. Let's use another one. Let's go with... I'm trying to pick the most awesome one. There's so many awesome ones. Okay, well this one will do. I haven't used him yet.
Gentlemen, I thank you for your services. I trust it was not too much trouble.
There's like an upward inflection at the end of that as he looks at Albric's arm and head.
I don't really say anything. I think I just look awkward. Like, thanks, no thanks.
Well, I did what must be done.
I can see more is with you. Yes, yes. Yes, I can feel it. Good, good. For your services, gentlemen. Morning and daylight are soon upon us.
Hands you each a small pouch of silver. Each pouch containing 8 silver.
Do let us know when you will be ready to return. There is much more work to be done.
I kind of give I give him a very respectful nod and then kind of look at my spear and frown.
From down from the ground, Albert will use a traditional salute of the Moor's priesthood.
I tell you what. He pulls out a healing draft from his pocket. For dedication to Moor. And just kind of places it on the ground next to your head.
Thank you. This pillow is most comfortable.
He just turns around and slowly walks away. Gentlemen, daylight is nearly upon. Anywhere you would like to go? Things you would like to do? People you would like to slay?
I would like to visit Otto. Our lovely doctor.
Ah, yes.
I think I'm going to take my leave and go back to the rat hole and think about my life decisions. Unfortunately, I have to bow out, but...
No problem. Thank you very much for your time, sir. See you soon.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. See ya.
Now, we'll continue with the two of you brave soldiers for a little while. If that is convenient to you.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And Joris, do you accompany him?
I will support our mighty warrior priest prospect to the doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. While you're kind of helping him, you'll be constantly hearing him mumbling something about green colors, green stones, rats, more green.
Perhaps you better hang on to this, because I still have this whistle. Maybe it is more use for you. Maybe it keeps away the green stuff. And he gives him the rose whistle, or whistle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he'll automatically, absent-mindedly pocket it.
Okay. And there's no patience outside the door of Otto. Bright and early, you are the first to be enjoying this nice, calm day. Hello, gentlemen. Hello. Oh, yes. Look at you. Oh, yeah. Would you like to keep it? Looking at your arm.
Yes, I would like to.
Shame. I've got some wood ones. Very good. Right.
He does not need a wood arm. He needs you to help him.
Yes, don't worry.
A regular patient.
I've got some dung. I've got some herbs. Let me look out.
Have you got a badger on a stick? That always helps.
Oh, yes. Well, long story with the badger. It's
Albrecht will handle him the healing powers that he get from the priest. Maybe this will help.
What? Okay, right. I guess we'll do this the sciencey way then. Yes, follow the science. That's what they say. Right. Opens out the pouch and kind of gets a couple of things from under a drawer and adds them into the pouch. Right. Time to make a poultice, I assume. And right. This goes here. This is going to sting a little bit. Pour something on your arm that doesn't sting at all. And this is for you to drink.
He drinks.
It stings like hell. Yeah, it stings like hell. Right. Now, let's have a look. Do I even have the heal skill? Let's have a look. I don't.
Balls. Well, I'm just going to quickly learn. Excuse me, I'll be back in a moment.
Hydra is just going to create his character sheet while you two converse.
So what did you see? What was the vision? Were there any skeletons and zombies in the vision?
Yes, lots of them. Actually, I can't think of it. Well, it might be that the green stone is somehow responsible for the unrest in the garden.
Yes.
But I'm at a loss what this stone might be, but I saw some fine dust of the green color on the dead and between the gravestones.
It's weird. Did you see anything about the nobles here in town?
Unfortunately not, but I've seen things under the town. There is some weird machinery work and some rats, giant rats working around it.
The others, they were talking about things in the sewers. And my friend, he was holding a big rat's tail. We were talking about rats in the sewers as well.
There is maybe some grain of truth to his story. I kinda assume that he was drunk off his ass and just fell down the sewer.
Yes.
But it might be that he was telling the truth.
This town is weirder and weirder.
Right, there we go. One bandage soaked in urine. And I've thrown in a little cow dung for good measure. Should slow the bleeding. Yes.
Starts to apply some soaked bandages. It feels kind of warm.
That's exactly what I needed, because with bloodless I kinda started to feel a little bit cold.
Yes, fresh urine, that's the secret. Right. So, donations in a jar or any trinkets, whatever you can afford. All for the good of Tom. Anything else I can help you with?
You can heal 5 wounds.
Nice.
And your arm smells like urine.
If you ever had any mutants, mutant rats, or
Mutant rats?
people with rat tails?
No, never seen one of those. I do, however, have a large dog.
See, can I see if he's truthful or?
Sure, somebody brought the specimen to me the other day. Don't tell anyone. Okay? Because if they find out I'm doing experiments trying to find out the cause of this mutation, then they'll have my guts.
He looks kind of spooked for a second.
But at least that man's left.
Looks out the window.
He's gone. Good. Anyway, maybe the dog scared him off.
Pulls out a very large rat from under the table and places it on the table.
There you go. Down, boy.
Where did you get this?
Is it alive?
Well, it could be sleeping, I suppose. I don't know much about rat biology. Perhaps it's hibernating. Maybe we should poke it with a stick.
Not me.
The rat is probably the best part of 1 yard long, kind of like the size of a small dog.
One of the children brought it in, actually. They were playing on Come to think of it, I don't remember. I think it was somewhere around the northern gate. And, yes, they were exploring, and, they found this. It's already dead, though. Looks like, oh yes, that's what did it.
You can see it's like been stood on, presumably by, well, a horse. It has like a hoof print on its head, and a little bit of a flat head situation.
Yes, very unfortunate. I imagine it was a good dog. Poor boy.
Yeah. At such young age.
I know. Still, maybe I can put it in the garden of Moor somewhere. Maybe Moor can look after it.
Well, probably. You might. There's a kind of lots of occupied spaces in that garden. Maybe you can, kind of dispose it in other means.
I'll just throw it in the sewers. It's only a dog.
Well, you can feed other dogs, for example.
Oh, yes, wonderful idea. Dog food.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
Maybe that's why they call it dog food. I've never thought of that.
He said it from the northern gate. Can I conjure in my memory any points of interest around that place?
It's sort of a mountain pass. You would use it to go toward the Haga crypts. It's not a commonly travelled road for obvious reasons. I would say roll a average intellect. Nope. And that urine smells quite strong.
I do not.
I think I will ask for urine patch for my eye because I think it's still bleeding a little bit.
No problem. Here, I had some left over.
Passes you a warm vial.
Thank you.
Good luck. I'll see you all soon.
On the way out, Albert will drop a silver coin into the donation box.
He looks surprised.
Thank you. God bless you.
Well, not every day you get a free vial of urine and patched wounds.
Indeed. No. Do you want to take a quick look at the north gate?
Yeah, that I was thinking about that. Yeah, early in the morning before we head to sleep, might as well stroll a little bit around.
Yes, and maybe we can stop at my uncle's. We could probably use some food.
Yes, tending to the gardens is a tiring affair. By the way, I think I still have my roasted pork bit, and Albert will rummage through his pockets where he kind of stuffed a little bit of that from yesterday. Do you want some? I think I also have a cheese from somewhere.
Oh, I still have my own. You grab a chicken leg from somewhere. So, I did not. I have seen like the walking skeletons before, but never when there's still like fleshy bits still stuck to them. That's kind of gross.
Yeah. It also very strange because usually the gardens are, well, they usually a lot more peaceful. Given that we don't have a green moon on the sky, and it's not the season yet, at least.
Makes a warning sign, Ulrich sign. Let's hope the Hex moon stays away for a bit more. Maybe we can have more sleep. Stay away.
Yeah, better not to mention it actually. So, to the northern gate, and then to your uncle's. Maybe he'll give us another round of free booze.
Yes, probably.
I could use one or two. Or come to think of it, maybe 5. Yeah, 5 is a good number.
I like you. You're could be a Norseman with a type like that.
There is a you're at the surgeons at the moment, aren't you? I just need to do maths in my head. There's a sheepish knock at the door. A youngish boy holding a parcel wrapped in cloth, fairly large. It's kind of a hefty weight for him to carry.
Excuse me, I'm looking for the Morite man.
Well, he's right here.
Hello, sir. I've been asked to take this to you, forthwith and henceforth and forthrightly and all that. Sharpish and whatnot. It'll be two pennies, sir, for the message.
Ulrich, I think this boy has something for you. We'll take the package and give the boy some coin and gave it the package to Ulrich.
All right, thank you, sir.
Well, he's a bit at a loss, kinda lost in his thought, so he didn't notice the boy, but he notices the package once it's got delivered to him by his companion.
Do you open now or save for another time?
I'll take a look inside because it's
quite weighty. Feels like a bundle of things. Inside, the first thing you see is a book. This is a Morite prayer book. Quite decorative, black cover, as is custom. Symbol of Moor on the front. And underneath is a leather jerkin. Black in colour. It is reminiscent of what the priests were wearing within the town, and there is also a religious sort of symbol, a symbol of authority or a membership of the Morite sort of cult. I'll allow you to describe that to me. If anything comes to your mind.
It's arriving into inside the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thingy.
Beautiful. And a small note.
What does it read?
It reads. May these serve you better. ... in very eloquent, squiggly writing. Not like the letter that brought you to town, but somewhat foreign-looking writing. It's I guess to an Englishman, it's kind of how maybe like Arabic looks. But it is still written in Reichspiel.
He'll sniff the note. Are there any particular scents?
Do you have acute sense or anything like that?
No, I'm just very attractive.
Fair enough. Just like smelling. Roll a challenging perception, please. Okay. It smells familiar, but you cannot put your finger on it.
That's urine. Knew it.
That is urine indeed. Right. And was there another stop you gentlemen wanted to go to before we wrap up, or is now a convenient time for you? I have a little longer if you need. It is up to you.
This is good. Or we can take a look at the gate. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if it's a short thing, then we might as well look at the gate and end up in a tavern. Or looking at it right here, it's fine with me either way.
What I'll say is, as the two of you make a walk toward the northern gate, you see two officials taking documentation from those leaving. There is currently a trader passing through, and you can see they're having their papers checked. About 10 yards to the side, a shady-looking man, a darker complexion to his skin, Stragani, you suspect, is looking at you and just kind of shaking his head left to right before looking down at the floor.
Well, if anything I learned, we probably should trust those guys, so maybe we should take a look at these guys another time.
Well, Stragani, they know. They can tell the future. I experienced it today. Very well. Another time. Let's speak with the others then.
Just as you go to leave and sort of look to see if the Stragani's still watching, he makes a hand gesture toward you, Ulbrich, of a moon. It's like a Moorish gesture. To us, it would probably look like a curved hand. Just raises it up, points to the sky, and then kind of walks away. You would assume it would mean nighttime, or when the moon is high.
All right.
Or perhaps something else. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for playing.
Thank you for the entertaining game.
Yeah.
Well done for living. That was good. Some wonderful choices. I'm going to throw over to chat for a second, just see if anyone in chat has any particular thoughts. I would say well done for throwing yourselves in the deep end, for choosing the dangerous curiosity of more plot information versus the safety of fighting alongside a Black Knight. So well done for being courageous, and rewards are hopefully flowing your way via plot as compensation.
Well, I mean, I get a book. Books aren't cheap in this day and time.
Indeed.
Oh.
Indeed.
Yeah.
A book. So we had a fate and a resilience spent today, but a pretty awesome combat resolution and a quite thorough investigation. Far more thorough than an elf would have done. An elf would have just run away like a pansy. I think that is fairly safe to say. Do you agree?
Yeah.
He might be in league with those creatures.
He probably is. You should probably kill him in his sleep.
He might be one of them in disguise.
He's probably a skeleton.
Bush
That's
bandits always
definitely
raising
explained.
zombies.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. This elf needs to go. He needs to go. Right, gentlemen, I'll let you plot his demise and downfall. Thank you very much for playing. I'm enjoying myself listening to you guys, and hopefully the audience as well are enjoying watching, and you are all enjoying playing, and everyone everywhere is just joyous, even the priests of Moor on the inside. I'll see you in the future next week for another session where we get into even more trouble. Take care.
Bye.